She texted, "I'm pregnant and scared. Please come to the clinic with me tomorrow." I dropped everything and took the day off work. The clinic had no appointment for her. Then I checked her Instagram. She was at brunch with her ex, laughing about how fast he came running. When I showed up at the restaurant, original post, 28 male. I've been dating my girlfriend for about 14 months. We met through a mutual friend at a barbecue, hit it off immediately, and things moved pretty fast. She moved into my apartment around the 8-month mark because her lease was ending and we'd been spending every night together anyway. It made sense financially, according to her. I paid about 70% of the rent because I make more. I'm a project manager at a construction company. She works part-time at a boutique clothing store while figuring out her next career move. Quick background on her ex that becomes relevant. They dated for 3 years before me, supposedly broke up because he cheated on her with a coworker. At least that's the story she told me when we first started getting serious. She described him as manipulative, emotionally unavailable, someone who made her feel worthless. I spent months reassuring her that not all guys were like that, helping rebuild her confidence, being the good guy after the bad guy. Classic rebound dynamic, but I genuinely thought we'd grown past it. The last few months have been weird, though. She'd been distant, protective of her phone in ways she never used to be, going out with friends more often and coming home late. I noticed but didn't push. I figured if something was wrong, she'd tell me. I trusted her. That was my first mistake. Last Tuesday night, around 11 p.m., I was half asleep on the couch watching highlights when my phone buzzed. The text that came through made my stomach drop through the floor. "I'm pregnant and I'm really scared. I have an appointment at a clinic tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Can you please come with me? I can't do this alone." I immediately sat up and called her. She answered crying. These deep, shaky sobs that sounded completely genuine. She said she just found out that afternoon. She'd been too scared to tell me until now. She didn't know what she wanted to do. She just needed me there. I told her of course I'd be there. Whatever she decided, I'd support her. We were in this together. That night, I maybe slept 2 hours total. I lay in bed running through every scenario. Were we ready for a kid? Could we afford it? We'd never even talked about marriage. What if she wanted to keep it? What if she wanted to terminate? What if this changed everything? I was stressed out of my mind, but also weirdly touched that she trusted me enough to ask for my support instead of handling alone. Wednesday morning, I was up at 5:30 a.m. Made coffee, tried to eat something, couldn't. At 6 a.m. sharp, I called my boss and explained I had a family emergency and needed the day off, possibly the whole day. He was understanding. I got a solid track record at this company, rarely call out, always hit my deadlines. He said take whatever time I needed and to let him know if there was anything he could do. I drove to the clinic she'd mentioned. Got there at 8:45 a.m., 15 minutes early, because I'm the kind of person who shows up early to everything. Parked in the lot and texted her, "I'm here. Where should I meet you?" No response. 8:55 a.m. Still nothing. I tried calling. Straight to voicemail. 9 a.m. Voicemail again. Texted, "Hey, I'm in the parking lot. You here?" 9:15 a.m. I was starting to worry something had happened. Maybe she was having second thoughts. Maybe she was too scared to come inside. I walked into the clinic, figuring maybe she was already in there and her phone had died. Approached the front desk. Middle-aged receptionist with kind eyes looked up at me. "Hi, I'm here with my girlfriend. She had a 9 a.m. appointment. I was supposed to meet her." "Of course. What's her name?" I gave it. She typed for a moment. Checked her screen. Typed again. A confused expression crossed her face. "Sir, I don't have anyone by that name scheduled for today. Are you sure it was this location?" She specifically said this clinic. 9 a.m. Wednesday. More typing. More confusion. "I'm sorry, but there's definitely no appointment under that name. Could she have used a different name? Or maybe scheduled at one of our other locations?" I stood there feeling like an idiot. My face was getting hot. "No, she said this clinic specifically. This address. I'm really sorry. I wish I could help. Would you like me to check our other locations?" I thanked her and walked out in a daze. Back in my car, I tried calling again. Voicemail. Texted, "Hey, I'm at the clinic, but they don't have your appointment. Did you go somewhere else? Are you okay? Call me." Nothing. By 9:30, I was sitting there trying to make sense of it. Did she go to a different clinic? Did she get the time wrong? Did something happen? My mind was spinning through increasingly worried scenarios. That's when I did something I'm not proud of, but also don't regret. I checked her Instagram. We follow each other, but I rarely look at her stories. She posts a lot. Coffee cups, sunset pics, those inspirational quotes about healing and growth that people share when they want to seem deep. But when I opened the app that morning and tapped on her profile picture, her most recent story stopped me cold. It was a video, posted 23 minutes ago. She was at some trendy brunch spot. I could see mimosa flights in the background, avocado toast, exposed brick, that whole aesthetic. And she wasn't alone. She was with her ex, the manipulative, toxic one who cheated on her and made her feel worthless. They were laughing, clinking glasses, having the time of their lives. The caption, "When you test loyalty and he comes running man-running face with tears of joy." I watched it 4 times. My hand was shaking so bad I almost dropped my phone. She had faked a pregnancy scare. Made me take a day off work, which I'd have to explain to my boss. Made me drive across town to a clinic at 9 a.m. Made me worry about our future, about her health, about a potential child that didn't exist. And she did all of it so she could test my loyalty and laugh about it with her ex over brunch. I sat in that clinic parking lot for probably 15 minutes, just breathing. My first instinct was to call her and lose my mind. My second instinct was to drive straight to that restaurant and make a scene that would end up on someone's TikTok. I did neither. I opened Google Maps and found the restaurant from her story. She geotagged it because of course she had. Started driving, but not to make a scene. I had a different plan forming. On the way, I called my buddy who works in real estate. He's helped me understand leases and tenant rights before. I asked him a quick question about removing an occupant from a lease when they're not a co-signer. He walked me through the basics. Then I called my landlord and had a very productive 10-minute conversation. By 10:15 a.m., I was parked outside the restaurant. Through the window, I could see them, my girlfriend and her ex, still laughing, still drinking, still performing their little comedy routine at my expense. I took another screenshot of her story, making sure the timestamp was visible. Then I got out of my car and walked inside. The hostess asked if I had a reservation. I said I was meeting someone and pointed toward their table. She smiled and waved me through. My girlfriend saw me when I was about 10 feet away. Her face cycled through expressions like a slot machine, surprise, fear, then something that looked almost like excitement. Like she was thrilled the drama was escalating exactly as she'd hoped. Her ex looked up with this smug little half smile. "Oh, so this is the boyfriend? She was just telling me all about you." I bet she was. My girlfriend tried to control the narrative immediately. "Babe, this isn't what it looks like. I can explain everything. No need. I saw your story." Her face lost some color. "That was just a joke. I was going to tell you later. I just wanted to—" "You faked a pregnancy scare to test me while brunching with your ex." I figured that out when the clinic receptionist said you didn't have an appointment. Her ex actually laughed. Laughed. Damn. She really did that? That's ice cold. He seemed impressed rather than disturbed. My girlfriend shot him a sharp look, then turned back to me with tears welling up. The performance was honestly impressive. Years of practice, probably. I just needed to know you cared. You've been so distant lately, and I was scared you were losing interest. This was stupid, I know, but I was desperate. I've been distant. You've been going out every other night. You've been hiding your phone. You've been. I stopped myself. I wasn't going to do this here in public in front of her ex, giving them both exactly what they wanted. Instead, I pulled out my phone and showed her a text I'd received while driving over. "What is this? Notice from our landlord. You're being removed as an occupant from my lease. You have 30 days to find somewhere else to live. That's the 15th of next month. You can't. That's not legal. Actually, it is. The apartment is in my name only. You were added as an approved occupant, not a co-signer. I just got off the phone with the landlord. He's sending you the official paperwork today." Her ex had stopped smiling. My girlfriend's performance tears were becoming real ones. "Where am I supposed to go? I can't afford." "That sounds like a you problem. Maybe your ex can help, since you two are so close." I looked at him. He looked away. Wouldn't meet my eyes. Classic. "You're really doing this? Over a joke. You fake being pregnant with my child." You made me think we were facing one of the biggest decisions of our lives. You made me call out of work, and I'm burning a personal day on this, by the way. And you did all of that to test my loyalty so you could have a laugh with your ex. I was going to tell you. When, after dessert, she didn't have an answer. I put my phone away. Your stuff will be boxed up by this weekend. I'll text you when you can come get it. Bring your ex if you need help carrying things. I won't be there. I turned and walked out of the restaurant without looking back. Drove home in silence. Called my boss. Told him the family emergency was resolved, but asked if I could work remotely the rest of the day. He said fine. Then I sat on my couch, our couch, my couch, and let myself feel everything I've been suppressing for the last 3 hours. The betrayal, the humiliation, the sheer absurdity of being manipulated by someone I'd spent 14 months building a life with. 14 months with a person who thought faking a pregnancy was an acceptable way to test a relationship. I should have seen it sooner. Update 1, 5 days later. It's been 5 days since the restaurant, and things have escalated in ways I didn't anticipate. Gonna try to keep this organized. After I got home from the restaurant, I didn't touch her stuff immediately. Spent a couple hours just sitting in silence processing everything. Then I switched into practical mode, because that's easier than feeling. Started separating her belongings from mine, making piles, finding boxes from the storage closet. Focus on tasks, not emotions. She started blowing on my phone that same afternoon. Texts, calls, voicemails, all variations of please let me explain, and you're completely overreacting, and I can't believe you're doing this over something so small. I didn't respond to any of it. By evening, her tone had shifted from apologetic to angry. You're really going to throw away 14 months over this? You're being incredibly childish. I talked to my friends, and they all agree you're taking this way too far. I muted her notifications. Day 2 is when her mother got involved. I met her mother 3 times. Pleasant woman, very protective of her daughter, seemed to like me well enough. So when I answered a call from an unknown number and heard her voice, I was caught off guard. I'm trying to understand what happened between you two. My daughter is absolutely hysterical and saying you're kicking her out over a misunderstanding. With all due respect, ma'am, your daughter faked a pregnancy scare to test my loyalty while she was having brunch with her ex-boyfriend. That's not a misunderstanding. Silence on the other end. Then, she did what? She texted me that she was pregnant and scared, said she had a clinic appointment in the morning, asked me to come support her. I took a personal day from work. When I got to the clinic, there was no appointment. I checked her Instagram, and she was at a restaurant with her ex. She'd posted a video laughing about how fast I came running. More silence. I didn't know the details. She just said you two had a fight, and you were being completely unreasonable about it. I'm not being unreasonable. I'm removing someone from my life who thinks emotional manipulation is a game to play. Her mother apologized. Actually apologized. Said she needed to have a serious conversation with her daughter. I thanked her and hung up. Thought that might actually be the end of it. It was absolutely not the end of it. Day 3 is when the ex showed up at my apartment. I wasn't expecting anyone, so when the doorbell rang at 7 p.m. and I checked the peephole, seeing him standing there was a genuine shock. I opened the door but kept the chain on. Can I help you? Hey ma'am, look, I think we got off on the wrong foot at the restaurant. Can we talk? I really don't think we have anything to discuss. Just hear me out. She told me you two were basically already broken up. I didn't know she was pulling some loyalty test thing. I thought you guys were done. I'm not trying to be the bad guy here. Cool. Still don't have anything to talk about. She's been texting me nonstop since you walked out, saying she's going to be homeless, that you're ruining her life, that she has nowhere to go. I feel bad for her, man. Then let her move in with you. He let out this nervous laugh. Nah, we're not like that. We're just friends now. I'm not trying to get into a relationship with her. Then I guess she's got a problem. Not my problem, though. I started to close the door. He put his hand on it to stop me. You're really just going to throw her out on the street? That's pretty cold, man. I looked at his hand on my door, then back at his face. You've got about 5 seconds to take your hand off my door before I call the police. He removed his hand. Whatever, man. You're going to regret being this petty. Probably not. I closed the door, locked it, went back to packing her boxes. Days 4 and 5 is when they tried to actually sabotage my life. Yesterday morning, I got a call from my company's HR department. My stomach dropped because you never get a call from HR unless something's wrong. The rep was professional, but clearly uncomfortable. We receive an anonymous complaint through our ethics hotline. Someone alleged that you've been harassing a woman and making threatening statements. We're required by policy to investigate all reports. Can you tell me your side? I spent 30 minutes explaining everything. The fake pregnancy, the brunch with the ex, the breakup, the eviction notice. I showed them screenshots of her Instagram story, the text chain where she claimed to be pregnant, the increasingly hostile messages she'd sent afterward, and the fact that her ex had shown up at my apartment unannounced. The HR rep took careful notes. Do you have any idea who might have filed this report? I have a pretty good guess. We'll be looking into this. Please don't discuss it with anyone else at the company. I went about my workday, trying not to panic. 3 hours later, I got another call. Same HR rep. The investigation was closed. Whoever had filed the complaint had been inconsistent in their account and couldn't provide any actual evidence. I wasn't in any trouble. But here's the thing. Someone tried to get me fired. Someone filed a false report with my employer, hoping I'd face consequences. And I know exactly who was behind it. That's when I decided I was done being passive about this. I have a friend from college who went to law school and now works as a paralegal at a firm downtown. I called her and asked about my options. She explained that making false reports to someone's employer could potentially constitute defamation or tortious interference with employment, but that actually suing someone would be expensive, time-consuming, and probably not worth it for the damages involved. However, she also said that sometimes a strongly worded cease and desist letter is enough to scare people into stopping. So she helped me draft one. Very official-looking. Legal letterhead, professional language, specific references to the false report, and potential legal consequences if harassment continued. I sent it to my ex via email and CC'd her mother. Haven't heard from either of them since. The boxes are packed. She has until the 15th to collect them. After that, anything left is getting donated. 14 months. A fake pregnancy. Brunch with an ex. An attempted sabotage of my career. And people wonder why trust is hard. Update 2. 12 days later. Final update, because I need to close this chapter and get on with my life. After I sent the cease and desist letter, things went quiet. Blissfully, peacefully quiet. For about a week, no calls, no texts, no unwanted visitors, no HR complaints. I started thinking maybe it was actually over. Day 8 proved me wrong. I got a message on Facebook from someone I vaguely recognized. One of my ex's friends from her social circle, someone I'd met maybe twice at parties over the past year. The message read, "Hey, not sure if you've seen, but your ex has been telling everyone you were abusive, and that's why she had to leave. She's saying you threw all her stuff on the street, and now she's homeless because of you. It's getting around to your mutual friends. Just wanted to give you a heads up." I thanked her and asked if she could send me screenshots. Within 2 hours, she'd sent me 5. All 5 showed my ex painting herself as a victim of emotional abuse and financial control. According to her version, I had been controlling and jealous throughout the relationship. She had finally found the courage to stand up for herself, and I had retaliated by throwing her out with no warning and destroying her belongings. No mention of the fake pregnancy. No mention of the brunch with her ex. No mention of the Instagram story where she literally laughed about testing my loyalty. Complete revisionist history. I sat with those screenshots for a while. My first instinct was to go full scorched earth. Post my own evidence, show everyone what actually happened, expose her lies publicly. But that felt like exactly what she'd want. A public drama war. A chance to play the victim even harder. Look, he's attacking me online now, too. Instead, I did something simpler and more surgical. Every mutual friend who reached out asking about what they'd heard, I replied with the same message. I'm not going to get into a public back and forth about this, but if you want to know what actually happened, I'm happy to share receipts privately. About 15 people took me up on that offer over the next couple days. I showed them the Instagram story screenshot with the timestamp. The original text where she claimed to be pregnant and scared. The clinic's lack of any appointment. The timeline of events. One by one, I watched the reaction shift. Oh damn. Wait, she actually did that. That's really messed up. She told me something completely different. By day 9, the tide had turned. People stopped commenting supportive things on her posts. A few mutual friends who'd initially believed her version reached out to me directly to apologize for assuming the worst. I'm not going to pretend that didn't feel good. After being falsely painted as an abuser when I was the one who got manipulated, watching the truth gradually come out was genuinely satisfying. Day 10 was move-out day. She was supposed to collect her belongings by the 15th. I texted her the previous week with a time window, Saturday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. I told her I wouldn't be there. She could use her key one last time, take her boxes, and leave the key on the kitchen counter when she was done. I wasn't there. Spent the afternoon at my buddy's apartment, watched football, ordered wings, tried not to think about it. At 4:45 p.m., I got a text from my neighbor across the hall. "Hey, your ex just left with some guy and a lot of boxes." She was slamming doors. Seemed upset. At 5:30 p.m., I got a text from my ex. Just one line. "I can't believe you're actually doing this to me." I didn't respond. When I got home that evening, the apartment felt different immediately. Emptier, obviously. The closet was cleaned out, her bathroom stuff was gone, the decorative pillows she'd bought for the couch were missing. But also felt lighter, like someone had opened a window and let stale air escape. The key was on the counter, exactly where I'd asked her to leave it. I spent that night deep cleaning the entire apartment. Every surface, every corner, every forgotten spot behind furniture. Threw away things I've been meaning to get rid of for months. By midnight, the place looked brand new. My place. Just mine. Day 11. Today, I checked Instagram one final time out of morbid curiosity. She'd posted a story late last night. A photo of her and her ex sitting on a couch together, surrounded by moving boxes, with the caption, "Grateful for real ones who actually have your back to hearts." So she moved in with him. The ex who told me they were just friends. The one who showed up at my door insisting they weren't like that. They deserve each other. I mean that sincerely. Two people who think manipulation and lies are acceptable relationship tools should absolutely be together, so they're not out here ruining anyone else's lives. I got a text from a friend who'd originally warned me about the smear campaign. She said she'd unfollowed my ex after seeing that Instagram story. Moving in with the guy she was cheating with while telling everyone you're the abuser? That's a special kind of delusional. It is, but it's not my problem anymore. Here's where I'm at. I'm 28 years old. I have a stable job, a clean apartment, and a very clear understanding of what I'm not willing to accept in a relationship. I lost 14 months to someone who saw emotional manipulation as a game and loyalty tests as entertainment. That sucks. But I also learned that I'm not someone who sticks around when I'm being disrespected. I'm the person who packs your boxes, changes the locks, and moves on. My buddy asked me last night if I'm still angry. I thought about it honestly and realized I'm not. I was furious in that restaurant. I was enraged when I found out about the HR complaint. But now I'm just done. Empty in a neutral way, not a sad way. She faked a pregnancy scare to test me. When I passed the test by showing up, she laughed about it with her ex. When I responded by ending things, she tried to destroy my reputation and my job. And when all of that failed, she moved in with a guy she was probably cheating with all along and called him a real one. That's who she is. That's who she always was. I just didn't see it clearly until she decided to show me. I'm not going to wrap this up with some inspirational life lesson. Real life doesn't work like that. Sometimes terrible people don't face dramatic justice. Sometimes they just move in with their ex-boyfriend and keep telling themselves they're the victim forever. But here's what I know for certain. My apartment is clean. My job is secure. My conscience is clear. My lease is mine alone. And I never have to wonder again if someone is faking a pregnancy to test my loyalty. Thanks for following along. I'm going to go watch football and order a pizza.